Hey everybody, it's Dr. Tim and Kirsten. We wanted to chat with you about salt. Everybody, seems to be told these days that salt is bad for you. Don't do too much salt. You have high blood pressure, stay away from the salt. Salt, right? Well, technically saying salt is bad for us would be like saying magnesium is bad for us, okay? So our lay term for salt, we all picture table salt. That's why people say salt is bad for you. Well, yeah, I would agree. Table salt in itself is actually just sodium. And so sodium alone, we have tests that can confirm this. Kirsten will get into that here in a second, but we know that sodium alone literally draws water out of our water balloons, our cells, and it pulls it into the extracellular space, creating water retention, edema, on a pregnant woman's ankles. And so that's not good. If I do have tendencies for heart issues and high blood pressure, well, that extra pressure outside of my cells can cause even more problems. But however, saying salt is bad for you, it's absolutely ridiculous. So 2 recommendations if you want more information on that is, first of all, we have a very simple handout that you can read about salt, why it's not bad for you, why we only recommend a certain type of salt. It's the most doctor recommended salt out there, and it's in fact 84 different minerals, okay? Even though it's 99.9% sodium, that 0.1% is other minerals in tiny little doses. It actually makes this act very different than that table salt we just talked about. One of my favorite books on this topic too, if you want more information, is a book called Salt Your Way to Health. It's probably $5 or $10 on Amazon, but get that if you want more information as to why it's better than even Himalayan salt, okay? So this is by far our favorite salt, and my wife is a salt junkie, and so when I gave her the green light to eat as much of this salt as she wanted when we first met, she doesn't have high blood pressure, she doesn't have any extracellular, edema anymore. This literally does the opposite. So as table salt draws water out of our water balloons, out of our cells, this actually puts it back in those water balloons, okay? So it hydrates your cells. So it doesn't change our overall water content necessarily. It puts the water in the cells where it's supposed to be, because if the water is in the cells, that means we're hydrated. If it's outside of the cells, that means we're not hydrated, even though that water is in my body, right? Good handout, great book. This electrolyte powder is kind of the next step to this. So we can take a pinch of this and put it in our food and put it in water as an electrolyte if you're out golfing in the sun or whatever. This is a secondary item to this as well that'll kind of enhance what this is doing if this isn't working for you, but we can run some tests. What are some of those tests we could do? We can do the body mass index test, and that looks at the history. Body composition test, right?
Composition
absolutely.
Test, yeah. So we can look at that, and that will tell us the hydration levels of your body.
Intracellular versus extracellular,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm.
And it also track that history.
That's important, right? We don't necessarily care where somebody starts. That's just a baseline, but what's happening after we start doing certain things in our lifestyle, because your body may react a little different than me. Let's just follow the facts through tests, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The second test we can do is a urinalysis. So that can actually, we test for many different things, but one of them can definitely tell us if you are hydrated.
Yeah, and when you come in for an exam, or if you want to just do a urinalysis separately, it's your basic Chem 10, but we use it for nutritional purposes. It'll tell us if there's protein in the urine, if you're hydrated enough, if you have sugar in there, and things like that. So just some quick tests we can do to see if you're hydrated, first of all, but also what's affecting that hydration level after we meet you and as you do certain things.
With that test as well, if there's any type of bacteria or anything going on within maybe your urinary tract.
Right.
We also have protocols, but sometimes just hydration can help clear up if there are any issues.
Absolutely, yeah. So that Chem 10 urinalysis tells us a lot of things. If you pair that up with the body composition analysis with the cellular tests, it's great information, and then we can kind of figure out how to help you out. So.